is Kcal News Mornings.
Good morning. It is New Year's Day, Wednesday, January 1st. I'm Jamie Yukas.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Holmes. Shabuda Shabazi is off. We're waking up to some devastating news.
Yeah.
Breaking news in New Orleans. A man rammed his pickup truck into a crowd on Bourbon Street. It's killed 10 people, injuring dozens more.
And we're now learning the suspect is dead. Kcal News correspondent Jared Hill is live in New York with the latest details just out this morning. And Jared, things keep changing.
Yeah, that's right, Chris and Jamie. So we have some new information actually just within the past couple of minutes. I'll run through here. We do know that President Biden has called the mayor of New Orleans about this. Also, we know that according to multiple law enforcement sources, a long gun has been recovered from the scene of the crash. The FBI as well as police in Louisiana and New Orleans are searching the vehicle for any other weapons there might be. Also, there's this question of these IEDs, these explosive devices that were reportedly found at the scene and potentially in other parts of the French Quarter in New Orleans. The big questions here that we are waiting to hear from investigators are, were those viable? Were those connected directly to this attack as well? But to get a bit of a rundown of what we know at this point, around 3:15 this morning Central Time, police say that a man sped through Bourbon Street in a pickup truck. 10 people now are dead. Over 30 others are injured, haven't been taken to the hospital. Police are saying that the driver, a man, was, quote, hell-bent on creating carnage. They say that he drove around barricades that were meant to stop vehicles from going through this heavily populated pedestrian area where there were a lot of people out last night. Also, they say that he started shooting at police. Police fired back. Again, as you mentioned, that suspect is now dead. We don't have a ton of information about the circumstances of his death. Authorities also have not given many details or really any details on his identity, a possible motive, but we do have some sound from the scene earlier. Take a listen.
Communications to engine 29 and all units heading towards Kcal and Bourbon. We're going to move to 5 wrong. Tourists here responding to a mass casualty incident. A vehicle ran through a crowd of people. There's multiple injuries, multiple casualties. They need you at Kcal and Bourbon.
I have been in direct contact with the White House, with Governor Landry, and of course a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy.
At this point, I know nothing. I know just as more, you know more than I do. I'm waking up to it, and I'm in shock.
And so that was a resident there of Bourbon Street. I think one of the interesting things about this part of the country, about this part of Louisiana and of New Orleans, is that not only is this an area where there are a lot of bars and restaurants and people kind of out celebrating, this is also a residential community where you have a lot of people living. And so there are lots of, feelings of uncertainty that we're hearing from folks who live in the area, who are celebrating in the area. Also, tons of questions about what potentially could have been done to prevent this. Again, we know that there were these bollards, these partitions in the road to try and stop something like this from happening. But again, at the same time, there has been a lot of back and forth with people in New Orleans and on Bourbon Street to make sure that this is not completely closed off to vehicular traffic because people live there, because the businesses need to be able to get supplies in and out, to be able to continue fostering this spirit, this environment. So moving forward, as we continue to go through the investigative process and looking at what can be done to prevent something like this, there are those questions of what sort of infrastructure changes might be needed in the area to stop this from happening again.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people celebrating there right now. Also, you got a lot of college football fans going there.